Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show, and it's time for another Euros group preview. Today is day 3, which means it is Group C. We have Ukraine, Austria, North Macedonia, and the Netherlands to take a look at today. Listen, before we get into the video, if you're liking it, please do smash a like, show me the love. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. As I say, you can follow this feature right through to Thursday, which will culminate in a nice live stream with myself and the Before the Whistle Blows crew at 7 p.m. on Thursday. But that's enough ramble from me. Let's get into the video. So first of all, guys, we are going to start with Ukraine. And you can see a very familiar face there in that blue shirt. It is, of course, Andriy Shevchenko. He currently leads and manages the Ukraine side. And what a signing it has been since he has arrived. Ukraine did not lose a single game on their way to Euro 2020 after previous failures. They've not lost a single game, drawing only 2 with Portugal, who are a fantastic side, and Serbia. So there is a real optimism about this Ukraine side. Of course, you can see the likes of Zinchenko, Yaremchuk. They've got obviously experienced players in Yarmolenko, Brazilian-born Marlos. So they really have a decent side. And under the tutelage of Andriy Shevchenko and the Italian assistants that he brought in, probably links there to his AC Milan days and stuff. We know how great of a player Shevchenko was. And I believe that Ukraine will make a lot of surprises in this tournament. As I say, the group as a whole, obviously Netherlands are naturally going to be favourites. We'll touch on them a little bit later on. But I see Ukraine as being second place. It'll be a shootout between them and Austria. Much like Finland in the previous group, in Group B, I think North Macedonia, and it pains me to say, because obviously Jani Alioski plays there, he's their main man, but I believe they could become a bit of a whipping boys in this group. But it's not really an overly strong group. But with Andriy Shevchenko, he's got this Ukraine side doing well. And like I say, we know how good Zinchenko is. They've got some other young talent in the likes of midfielder Malinskovi and Yaremchuk. As I say, you know my pronunciations ain't the best of times. It's going to be fun doing some of these watch-alongs during the Euros. But as I said, they have changed a lot since previous campaigns. Obviously, Shevchenko's come in. He's done really well. They went unbeaten in qualifying. I'm looking at the group. Ukraine should be fine for me. I think they'll come through in second. They could even nick a point off Netherlands. It wouldn't surprise me as an outside bet for Ukraine to top this group, if I'm being totally honest. And the next side, guys, we're going to look at is Austria. Some key names in there, not least David Alaba and, of course, Marko Arnautovic. Now, since beating the United States 2-1 in their final game of the 1990 World Cup, Austria have appeared at 3 major tournaments since then, being the 1998 World Cup, Euro 2008, Euro 2016, and they have not won a single game since 1990 in a major tournament. So the record isn't great for them. In those 9 games, there have been 4 draws, 5 defeats, and only 5 goals scored. This question marks over the coach Foda, over his overcautious approach. This question marks over David Alaba reproducing his club form for his country. No disrespect, Austrian fans, I doubt you're watching this, but it frustrates me when I read and see stuff like that, because how can David Alaba reproduce any sort of form with the level of quality that he has got around him? It's not high level. Look, England played Austria in a warm-up game, and they're a very physical side. I think we were very lucky to come away with just Trent getting an injury. The way they were hacking at Grealish was pretty brutal, if we're being totally honest. So, you know, they are a physical side, but in David Alaba, he seems to employ him in a midfield role. He's their most successful player in Austrian history. There was also question marks over whether or not he would include Marko Arnautovic. We know from his time in the Premier League, he's a goal-getter, he's a decent player. He has been included in their 26-man squad, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can have any impact on the squad. But again, I mean, looking at their record, you know, 9 games over them tournaments when they have appeared in major tournaments with you know, no wins. You know, you've got 4 defeats, 5 draws, only 5 goals scored. It doesn't make for great reading. And as I've said to you earlier, I think the second spot would possibly be between Ukraine and Austria. But the more research, the more I think about it, you would have to say that Ukraine are favourites over this Austrian side. I think Austria might get a couple of draws. You might see North Macedonia actually picking up a point against this Austrian side. I'm not really confident about them at all. So, yeah, I think, like I say, will they win a game? I guess that's what we'll have to wait and see. We've got some players in order to obviously be able to do that. The likes of Sabitzer, for example, Aliba and Arnautovic. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how they get on. But again, I think they'll struggle again to get any positive results. I think the most they can hope for is to pick up 3 points against North Macedonia. And will that be a massive plus for Austria, having not won a game since 1990? Would them at least picking up 3 points be something to be celebrated? I suppose they've got lucky with the type of group they're in. I bet Netherlands can't believe the luck they've got with the group they've got, to be fair. And that brings us nicely on to, of course, the Netherlands. Surely favourites for this group. It's an interesting one with the Dutch. As I say, what can be expected of this Dutch side? Of course, Virgil van Dijk is a huge miss. After being runners-up, in 2010 back in South Africa, then coming third 4 years later, they've then just fallen, off a cliff, missed the next 2 major tournaments, obviously not replacing the likes of Schneider, the likes of Robben, but now they do have a very good squad. Obviously Virgil van Dijk, as I said, is a massive miss, but you do have the likes of De Ligt, De Jong, Depay, Wijnaldum, even De Vrij from Inter Milan, who'll come in replace of Virgil van Dijk, is very able, but Virgil van Dijk is such a massive loss. We've seen that at Liverpool this season. You could argue we've seen it at the back end of the season with someone like Maguire for Manchester United. A centre-back, especially in modern football, is so pivotal when they are so commanding. So it'd be interesting to see how this Netherlands side go on. Do I expect them to win all 3 group games? Yes, with ease, if I'm being totally honest. If they don't top the group with 9 points, something's amiss because the quality is there to be seen. I suppose the main worry is of course the goalkeeper. Tim Krul, Norwich. Yes, they've been promoted, but is he an international winning side number 1? Not for me personally. And of course, the manager, obviously Koeman, went to Barcelona. They now have De Boer in charge. De Boer's track record is not very good. Like I say, 3 sackings in his last 3 jobs. There's even been question marks from certain sections of the Netherlands fan base whether or not he's the manager to take them forward. But look, they're going to get through the group stage. Then I guess for the Dutch side, it's what happens next. We know, like I said, they have the likes of Depay, De Ligt, De Jong, Wijnaldum, Klaassen. They have a good squad, the nucleus of a great side. I just worry for them how big of a loss Van Dijk is. Obviously they came through and did well winning the Nations League or getting to the final at least of the Nations League. But there's been a change of coach since then. And obviously, as I've said, I keep repeating myself as I always do. So I need to stop doing it. But Virgil van Dijk is a massive loss for the Netherlands. But surely they've got to top this group 9 from 9. Yeah, 9 points from 9. They don't play 9 games, but you get me. 3 points, no. 9 points means 3 from 3. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. If they don't, like I say, Ukraine, watch out. Outside pick to top this group. We'll have to wait and see. But surely the Netherlands have to win all 3 of these. And the last team to look at, guys, in Group C, and certainly not least for me, is, of course, Jani Alioski's North Macedonian side. Of course, the switch up in the format when it came to qualifying for Europe meant that teams like North Macedonia, Finland, etc., have an opportunity to qualify for this major tournaments. I know a lot of people are not happy and say that it de-strengthens or weakens, that's the word I'm looking for, weakens the quality of the football overall in the qualifiers, in the tournaments, in the Champions League, whenever they change it. But imagine being a North Macedonian fan, getting a qualification for your first tournament. It must be absolutely amazing. There's a lot of political unrest. I believe there was calls for the manager to go, and the stalwart, the leading man, that is Pandev, had to come out and speak for the coach, So it's a time for them to rejoice, a time for them to enjoy. And I personally love that sort of stuff. Let them have the chance to come. And of course, they had an amazing result against Germany, where they beat them 2-1 on 2022 World Cup qualifying campaign. So they're no pushovers. They will struggle in this group for me, though. Obviously, being at a major tournament, it brings, but there is always a surprise. There is always a surprise. You know, they've had draws with Holland in the past, the Netherlands in the past. They've got a decent record against Ukraine, one win, one draw, you know. So maybe I'm discounting them a little bit too much, but I'll be looking on with fondness at North Macedonia. I hope they do really well. I want Jan Ilioski to rip it up. They've got Pandev, of course, Goran Pandev, who's played at the top of the game. So I, for one, hope North Macedonia don't become the whipping boys, because even a team like Austria beat them once upon a time, like 4-1, which isn't a great record because Austria aren't a great side. But I hope they can get a positive result. Maybe it comes against Austria. I don't think they'll get out of the group, but what a story it would be if they could. Come on now, North Macedonia. I know Ukraine's my back for the group, but as a fan, I would want North Macedonia. But I think, for me, guys, Ukraine, I'm going to say it, they're going to top the group. They're going to top the group. They're going to get a point against Netherlands and win the rest. We'll have to wait and see. Netherlands to qualify, of course. But fingers crossed North Macedonia can get some sort of result. But that was your rundown of Group C. I hope you liked it. Smash a like on the video. Share it if you can. It's not been getting a lot of views, but let's get it out there. It is what it is. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Subscribe to the channel, get your notification bell on, and make sure you check out the daily leads, which will be here tomorrow. And by the way, I forgot to bloody change the background, didn't I? It's been a busy day. Listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Peace.